Hey everybody, I am so happy you're here today. Happy May, Ehlers-Danlos Awareness Month and Mental Health Awareness Month. We get 2 in 1. In case you're new here or you have only seen a few videos, I'm Kristen and I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I am also a licensed professional counselor. I am not your counselor, but I'm here to share some thoughts and ideas and some information from my own personal experience with a chronic condition and being a mental health professional. So I hope you enjoyed this video and leave me some feedback below and let me know if I miss anything out of the list I'm going to share with you today. We're going to talk about cognitive distortions. I thought this would be pretty appropriate because lately I have had like 3 or 4 days of really challenging body stuff going on. And I was thinking this morning, what could I talk about? What do I want to share? What's on my mind or my heart? And I was thinking about the reality that when you have a chronic condition, so I have Ehlers, so if I get a stomach bug or I get overtired or I hurt myself somehow, then Ehlers doesn't take a break. POTS doesn't take a break. Adrenal insufficiency doesn't take a break. Asthma doesn't take a break. All of the things that I normally deal with are still there, like they always are, whether there's anything extra or not. So I was thinking about the reality that yesterday I felt so challenged. I don't really know what word to use here. I didn't feel well. I didn't feel like myself. And I was laying in bed and I was thinking to myself, like, how many things can I deal with? And I was kind of feeling sorry for myself. As I was reflecting this morning on yesterday, I thought this is the perfect thing for me to share. It's so fresh in my mind, and if I'm dealing with it, surely someone else is. I can't be alone here. So I thought I would just put it out there. So I hope this is helpful or it resonates with you, or maybe it's something that you have conquered and can share with me your experience. I would love to hear it. All right, the first cognitive distortion is overgeneralizing. You see a constant negative pattern based on one event. So this is like always, never, forever, those kind of generalized terms to suggest that something has been this way always. So if something bad happens or if someone's rude to you, everyone is always so rude to me at Wendy's or whatever. That just popped into my head. So everyone is always something forever and is never something different than the thing they're always. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, I don't really know how to clarify it any more than that because you can't tell me. So if it didn't make sense, tell me and I'll give you some more feedback. Okay, number 2. That would be 4. Number 2, blaming and denying. This could be 2 ways. It could be blaming others for something that is my problem or my mistake, or it could be blaming myself for something that either wasn't entirely my fault or wasn't my fault at all, taking responsibility for other people's stuff. So my best example for this is I had something going on yesterday that I needed to go to and I couldn't do it. So I had to cancel it. There was no fault to be had. There was no blame to be had. The reality is that things change, things are canceled. I can't control what's going on inside my body, but I can control how I react to it. So after that cancellation, I felt really badly about it and I felt guilt and it wasn't necessary. So I had to check myself and go, there's nothing I could do. There's no fault, there's no blame, there's nothing to feel guilty about, but I could easily have taken on the other person's feelings and accepted ownership and responsibility for their feelings. And that's not mine to do. That's their business. Number 3 is shoulds. So I always tell my clients, you can't should on other people. So the reality is those who have cognitive distortions with shoulds have rigid code of conducts dictating how you and others should behave, and criticize yourself harshly when you fail to follow these rules. So there is a great sense of punishment when something doesn't happen the way you think it should. Or you may think that, well, they should know better. They should do differently. They should not do this or this. And there's a lot of misplaced, what is the word? Expectations of behavior and outcomes that is unnecessary. Ooh, the fourth one is all or nothing thinking. So this is very black and white. I really hope I can get through this video pretty quickly. So I'm going to try to rush through without lingering too long because I know I talk a lot. So all or nothing thinking, black and white thinking. And this doesn't mean that there are not black and white concepts, but there are some things that don't necessarily fit into the categories that they're put into, all or nothing. This is where things are seen as absolutes. Something has to be a certain way all the time or else, fill in the blank. This also kind of partners with catastrophizing. If it's not black or white, this horrible thing goes wrong, right? So if it isn't this, then this thing falls apart. The next one, number 5, is negative bias. So these individuals with cognitive distortions and negative bias see only the negatives and never the positives. This is something that I work very hard against every day, intentionally, very mindfully, because having a chronic condition can create a highlight of the negatives, because symptoms or being symptomatic creates a tunnel vision experience to where you're looking at your symptoms and you miss the positives around you, such as the things you are getting to do or you are getting to participate in, or your day did bring you that is good and enjoyable and joy-filled and not a waste, not a negative. Number 6 is actually catastrophizing. So this goes along with all or nothing thinking. So catastrophizing is expecting the worst, right? So we all have that friend, not us, right? We all have that friend, negative Nancy, and everything is always going to be the worst case scenario. So, ooh, this kind of falls under overgeneralizing as well. So nothing good can happen, right? Because we always have the worst case scenario. So if you're looking for the negative, you're going to find it. If you're catastrophizing and expecting the worst, you are going to find the worst. You might have some good stuff too that is so good it hits you in the face and you can't deny it, but there's always good to be found in each situation if you're looking for it. So maybe check yourself. I don't know. That's what I have to do. So this is me, right? I'm having to not focus on the negatives. So the day before yesterday, this was me, right? I was expecting the worst. The day before yesterday, I was unable to accomplish anything on my list at all. Not one thing got done the day before yesterday. And I am a list maker. I love lists. I think if you've watched a video in the past, you saw my steno pad, and I love to make lists of lists. And it's great because checking that off is so gratifying. So the day before yesterday, I didn't even really get up to get food. It was just a really rough day. And nothing got accomplished, and I was laying in bed, and really I felt too bad to even feel guilty or bad about it most of the day. But at some point I just thought to myself, tomorrow's self is going to regret today's choices so immensely, because I'm going to be behind so badly on my stuff that I won't be able to catch up. And I kind of let my mind go into this snowball experience with that. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is work. Resting is part of my wellness journey, and I have to rest in order to get something done later. And I will rest today and get to accomplish more than my expectations in the next several days to come once I am feeling better. So I went ahead and gave in, and it was a positive thing, because yesterday was challenging as well, but today I am much better. Not 100%, but I am much better, and I have accomplished some things. But tomorrow I will be even better. So I'm looking forward to getting the things from the day before yesterday checked off and moving forward with rest and recovery under my belt. 7 is labeling. I don't like labeling. I don't do it in my practice if I can help it. And I know part of diagnosis and diagnostics is handing out labels. And sometimes it's important, but a lot of times it's actually a hindrance to the situation. So unless it's necessary, I avoid it. But as it is applied to cognitive distortions, labeling is labeling yourself negatively, right? So this is, I'm a bad person, I'm ugly, I'm not good enough, I have no value, all I am is a fill in the blank, nobody wants me, so on and so on and so on. So negative labeling, putting a little hello, my name is worthless on your shirt and accepting it as truth. We have so many parts and there are so many moving elements of being a human being that one word can't define any one person, not even in a percentage. Like a tenth of your being is not even sufficient to fulfill a single label. So be aware of that. I don't like labels. Number 8 is magical thinking. So this is thinking everything will be better when fill in the blank. When I'm thinner, when I'm healthier, when I'm older, when I'm richer, when I'm famous, when I have notoriety, when I'm a professional, when I'm a wife, when I'm a mom, when I'm a homeowner, when I have 5 friends, when I fill in the blank, whatever that looks like. Whatever that is, magical thinking is thinking that one thing is dependent on another, such as happiness is dependent on reaching such and such goal, right? We've talked a million times about happiness being an emotion that comes and goes just like sadness. So the reality is magical thinking is thinking that a person, place, event, thing, whatever can create another person, place, event, thing, or whatever, such as bettering your circumstances wholly. Everything will be right when the moon sets on a Tuesday and the sky is purple and I see Pluto and the cow moos. Then life will be perfect. Magical thinking. The next one, number 9, is over personalizing. This is when you make things personal, kind of in the word, right? Over personalizing. But it's when they're not. It's when they're not personal. Thinking someone else's bad attitude has to do with you. Maybe they ran over their mailbox that morning before they went to work, and now they're checking you out getting your groceries, and their boss just got upset with them, and they found out they have to work on their birthday or whatever, and they take it out on you, and it has nothing to do with you. And then you think, oh, every time I always get these, it must be me, I'm the common denominator. This also includes believing other people's opinions are facts. You think that what other people say and do is a reaction to you. Mind reading. You make assumptions about what others are thinking, and we can't do that. It's impossible. If you know how, let me know in the comments. 11 is double standard. I think this one is pretty self-explanatory. We generally have encountered this. This is an uncommon language. You hold yourself to a higher or lower standard than everyone else. Or you hold someone else to a higher or lower standard than yourself. Number 12 is fallacy of fairness. You think things should work out according to what you think is fair. And lastly, we have made it in under 20 minutes. Emotional reasoning. You think your feelings are reality. So I will take another time, another video to discuss the awareness of emotions being flawed and unreliable. But for now, just be aware, I can't shit on you, right? Maybe we can consider not living by our feelings and living by the facts. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video on cognitive distortions, and be aware that you're not alone if you're going through the ravages and the challenges of chronic conditions. The challenge is you don't get a day off. Ehlers doesn't take a break when I have a tummy ache. Ehlers doesn't take a break when I have a migraine. So what I'm dealing with is just compounded by other things. And I know I'm not alone in this. So I hope you can recognize that you are not alone. And let me know in the comments if you are a zebra and you're here. So thanks for stopping by. See ya.